No, if there isn't, then we will just start an embargoed section now with regards to Fulham, and we'll go back to you, Fraser, to kick off.
Sean, I don't know how much attention you pay to the table now.
It's been taken over. Just so you know, it's been taken over.
Right, okay.
It's time now. It's definitely happened, and we've got 300 million spent. So, well, thanks everyone. Well done. It's all worked. Thanks for letting me know.
Which of the players that you've just signed are you most pleased with then in that case?
Messi. Not a bit. I tell you, he's got some quality, the lad. And Diego Costa has decided that he's had enough there and he definitely wants to come to the northwest, I think, the sunshine.
Shall we talk about Fulham?
Okay.
What do you make of the way that they seem to have got to grips with the Premier League after quite a while now?
Yeah, look, I know Scotty a little bit. I thought they did a good job in getting over the line last season. Not easy, you know, an indifferent start, which can happen, and then they're just beginning to find a way a little bit more. We've come across teams in the Premier League many times, obviously, and newcomers to the Premier League. It's not an easy start. And I would say everyone's earned the right to be in the Premier League. And once you've earned the right, then you're taken seriously. And we'll certainly be prepping seriously as we did for tonight. And the players are under no illusions about the challenge of every club in the Premier League. So our focus on getting our team to operate in the manner that we can feel that we can affect the game to win.
And they've managed 4 draws on the trot in the games leading up to the moment, which proves that they're becoming very difficult to break down at the moment as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, every team in the Premier League are looking for that balance, you know, of scoring a goal and not conceding. Possibly they might have looked at that and thought they need to tighten up slightly from the early season end style, etc. I don't know that, but that's possibly a shout from a distance, you know, from what I've seen. And the players will be learning and they're getting more used to the demands of the Premier League. But it still doesn't make it easy, you know, even when you understand the Premier League, it still doesn't make it easy every time that whistle blows. What we will do is we'll be ready, know that.
And in terms of the table, when you look at it at the moment, is it nice to see yourselves with a little bit of a cushion now as far as the lower end of the teams are concerned?
I've made it clear many times. I'm never really overly concerned with table. The one at the end of the season is the most important one. The one in between, we just look at it. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's the one at the end of the season. So, you know, we've earned the right over the last number of games, possibly crying out a bit. I thought we deserved more than we got at Leeds for different reasons. I've added another point, possibly 3. But I think the return at the moment is very good, considering the challenge we've had and the ongoing challenge with injuries, and not let's say. And I think we've been very well thus far. We have to keep building that ability to win games. And I thought it was on show for different reasons tonight. You know, the way that we saw the game through, and it's been an important factor for us in the Premier League. It's not just. I've always said, no matter who you are in the Premier League, in any level of football, when you're really on your performance level, you can win a game. You look back on it, you think, actually, I was a deserved winning and more comfortable. When you're not, they're the ones that are really important. The ones when you're not quite there or the opposition are good. I thought that was a case tonight. I thought Sheffield United gave a really good performance. Yeah, we took them out of it with a win. Back at the Sheffield United game, I must say. Then we go on to the Fulham game and we might have to do that again. You know, they've got some quality. They're working with the players hard to get them to perform. We've got to find their margins and find the moments. And we've done that very successfully over a number of seasons, but we'll have to do it again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Dave Anderson, please.
Sean, you've got 5 points from Fulham. If you win, you could stretch that to 8. Is that something you can focus on this game? The fact you can put a distance between you in the bottom 3?
It doesn't always work like that. The fact is that before the run of games we've had, I think most people didn't have us down for many points at all. When you look back at Everton and Arsenal and the like, to Villa going so well, of course, Wolves, you know, good outfits. I don't think many people had us down for the points that we've got. There's no guarantee who you're playing. You know, statistically, you have a better chance against certain teams, teams, but you've got to take points where you can in the Premier League. So we don't think Fulham will be any easier. We know that we've got to work really hard.
And if you were to stay up, would it be a better achievement than if Fulham stayed up, bearing in mind the resources of both clubs?
I've really thought about it, to be honest. About many achievements here. I'll decide the achievement level at the end of the season, that's for sure.
Yeah. And do you feel, Sean, that you can look up the table rather than down now because this run the last 8 games with 4 wins, 2 draws, just 2 defeats?
No, we'll look at the next game. it's what we've done for a long time here. That's been our mentality because that's the most important one. And with the injuries we've had this year, even more so, in fact, we've concentrated and focused on the next game because once that was done, we don't know what the next challenge is. You know, we keep losing players, we get some fit, then we lose them again. It literally has been one game at a time. And as I said, with the injuries, it's been one day at a time. You know, see how these players are recovering, see who's getting fit and see who's ready to play. So it's been, focus has been even clearer, actually, on the next game is the most important.
Yeah. And then just a word on Ben Mee, Sean. He obviously scored the goal tonight, was excellent again. And like it's been well documented what he's had to deal with personally, but he hasn't let it one iota sort of affect his performances. And he's had that injury as well. But just how pleased are you with him?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's earned the right to be the player he is, the captain that he is. People often talk about him being underrated. He's certainly not underrated by me, the staff, or the players here. That's for sure, or the Burnley fans either, by the way. And he continues to give everything to the court, and that's an important factor. His mentality is super strong. He's delivered another good performance next to Tarky. And I will say they've got a good unit in front of them. They respect the fact that we ask a shift off every player. You know, tactically and technically and mentally, of course, and physically. So therefore, he knows that people around him are giving everything. I think that's as a captain, I think that's a good thing to know. I think when you're standing in the tunnel, you look down the tunnel and you think, right, everyone's working here. I think that's a good start. He knows that he's got that around him.
Yep. Sean, thanks very much.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Dan, we'll come to you. Dan King, before we get to the locals, please.
Hi, Sean. Just going back to what you were talking about, the job that Scott's doing at Fulham. From your own experience, how difficult is it after a relegation to get a team to go again, and then once you've got them up again, to get them sorted in the Premier League?
Yeah, they've got about it slightly differently this time, it seems. The first time they got up, they spent, I can't remember, but something like 120 million.
Yeah.
Differently this time. They've kind of stuck with a lot more players that they felt have done the work to get them there. The manager, even after a tricky start, there was no noise really about, they should change or anything. It seemed like they've allowed the chance to work with these players and a chance to find their way through the Premier League so far. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but they have changed that way of looking at it, teams as a club. And now, so far anyway, and given a reasonable account of themselves, at least, they've had really good moments, they've had some tough moments, which can happen in the Premier League. The challenge is always to be respected in the Championship. I know the Championship's had its, different troubles over the last couple of years, mainly financially and, budgets and all the rest of it. But it's still difficult to get out of the Championship. There's no gimmicks in the Championship. And then, of course, you get in the Premier League, and there's certainly no gimmicks in the Premier League. So I think the way that you adapt, or I can only offer my opinion on it, the way that we adapted, is focusing on what you do, focusing on the detail. The detail gets more important as you go through a higher level of football, and every season the details are vital. So I think maybe that's something they're adjusting to. They've got the 4 draws that was mentioned earlier. They're finding their feet somewhat. But it's difficult. It's difficult. The season will be difficult for all in the Premier League, and especially in these odd times as well. No stadiums full of people and all the rest of it. So you need the inner motivation of your players and the team as well. And I think that's something that all of us are finding. Not just Scott, I can assure you, we're all finding that out.
And just also follow up on David's point about Ben Mee. I know, as you said, it's all about the collective, and he's got a good unit in front of him. But is it any coincidence that this good run of yours has coincided with him being back in the team, as your captain as well?
Well, it's not just Ben. Tarky's been there as well, and Tarky had a toe injury at the beginning of the season and a bit of noise around it, which never makes it that easy. You've had Popey in fine form behind him, varying players around him when we've had shots. It's fair to say he's a very good player, and he's, like I say, well respected by myself and his fellow players. He's a calm character. He's assertive when he's on the pitch, but he's calm off the pitch.
And so, just finally for me, you said you've had the injuries, you've had the takeover talk buzzing around, you've had VAR working its magic again, and you've had all against the background of a pandemic. How have you found this season personally? Is it been the most challenging so far as you've had as a manager?
Fun. It's been a brilliant laugh so far. Fantastic. Loved every minute of it. It's joyous.
But seriously,
I'm being serious. It's been joyous. It's broken apart. Look, there's a lot of challenges. I try not to cry in. I just try and speak about it. Has there been smoother situations at this club in my 8 years? Yes, there has. Has there been trickier ones? Yes, there has. This has been a time of stretch from the team. I mean, you've got to remember some of the other stuff. it gets debated, it gets talked about. Not so much with this takeover thing. I don't really know much about that. The chairman and the board have kept that away from me. The idea is the team has still got to be the main focus. That's my 100% focus. Players, well, the staff, the players, delivering performances. Try not to make excuses either to you or in front of the players, because I don't. These are the challenges. This is what it represents. This is what we've got to take on. I've never lost sight of that. Forgetting about all the noise and all the stories, I've never lost sight of that. That's always been my key directive, and it's.
But you're still having fun or enjoying it. You're still getting something out of doing it.
Even them challenges, joking apart, but even them challenges, they are enjoyable in a strange kind of way, because it stretches you sometimes. When situations that occur and you have to deal with them, you have to answer to them. It seems like every second of every day now. So these are all things that stretch what you do as a manager. So I think when you look beyond them and you stay focused on the team, which I've done, focus on the work of the staff and the players, and my own, of course. I'm being honest with myself as well. The things I get wrong, the things I do well. And you do get your own feedback from that. That's when you know that you're operating, even against sort of the target. You're operating well. I think so far the mixture of our team and staff and myself have been operating pretty well all season, actually. People from the outside, you look at a league table and you look at a result. From the inside, we see the work that we're doing. We see the analytics. We see the physical stuff. We see the players, the motivation. We can see into their eyes and know whether they're alive and they're ready to go. So these are all things that in-house, forgetting about results, are important to me. And I think we've had a good season for that reason. Looking at the players, knowing they're motivated. We've got the right side of the margins. We've still got lots of challenges coming our way. But that's life in football, and it's certainly life at Burnley. There's been no easy ride here, I can assure you.
Well, good luck with Messi. Thanks.
And well, you never know. Santa might be late. Throwing it out there.
Thanks, Dan. Chris Bowden, please.
Yeah, just quick on Josh Benson, Sean. I mean, how much will this sort of running the side and in and around the side sort of accelerate his progress, his development?
He's done well. He came in and like many we've had in here, late his time, but as he was, and all we ask of players, overcoaching, we let the environment and the culture rub off on him. And he was already getting it anyway. And then we asked a lot of him at Man City, and back after the first COVID situation. And we took a real bad result, but I thought he was excellent on the night. He shaped his work ethic from a wide role. He stayed in that wide role, and then once he got his chance in the middle, he's been terrific. So, he's another player who's continued to develop outside of the game team. And then once he's got his chances, really gripped it, and he's doing very, very well.
Magic.
Alex James, please. Then should be that, I think.
Alex panicked, look, because he was going to ask about the takeover.
Nothing, Alex?
Do it. I was going to get straight out again.
I'm all good, Sean, if you don't want to tell me anything else about the takeover.
Bloody hell, that's a first. I think that's it. Anybody else? Andy Jones, Danny Hall? Nobody? No. Thank you very much, folks.
Cheers, everyone. Stay well.
Hey, Sean.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
New Year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin.